to your future with eagerness and confidence, knowing that you have the potential to achieve and surpass your goals. Don't forget, once a Eagle, always a Eagle.
There she is.
I never get to see them
Congratulations.
They said your name so fast. Aw, you gave Sissy hugs.
Okay. Before I bring you guys in, let me double check some things. Okay, I think we're looking good on that. All right. All right. Let's bring it on in. All right. Season 2, episode 4, Men and Mental Health, part 2. If you notice, if you're watching, if you notice the background looks a little bit different. I'm renovating right now, switching rooms. Why did I not do this? 1 second. So I dropped a Men and Mental Health and talked about my youngest daughter's promotion. So, what better way to drop a part 2 than to add it on to Men's Mental Health Month, right? So, I did my congratulations on my last video on part 1. So, definitely congratulations on both my babies for this part 2. And let me see something real quick. Yeah, definitely congratulations part 2. It looks like I did a little. Oh, okay, that's better. Apologies for how everything looks behind me right now. It's a little bit of a mess, but yeah, it's definitely a work in progress right now. Yeah, let's dive in. I got some notes. For this one. So if anybody wants to do a follow-up for this video or even my last video, shoot us an email. If you're listening to the Spotify, it's not an easy email. You can't just still learning dad, right? I would have definitely did that, but I messed up on my actual email to use. So if you want to try to join the podcast by any chance um, to get featured on it or anything, go ahead and reach out to everlastingsoundsco@gmail.com. Everlastingsoundsco@gmail.com. Everlasting, Everlasting. Sounds is a tiny bit different. It's going to be SOUNDZCO@gmail.com. And that will be the email to reach out to. I have gotten a couple of emails already, but I'm not too sure if they're spam or not, so I have to dive into those and see what we can do. I will also try to leave a link of the email in all descriptions so it's easier to see it and be able to reach out. I'm also working on a FaceTime or Zoom number, so I'm gonna be diving into that hopefully tomorrow. Maybe get some homework done for that or whatever. But fellas, um, breaking the stigma, right? Um, the stigma surrounding mental health is broken down in a candid and insightful conversation. This video will encourage viewers to talk openly about their mental health, their mental well-being, and fostering a more understanding and supportive community. That's what I'm here for. I like this hook actually. This hook is it's pretty nice. It's mental health is a topic we need to talk about more openly. So in this video, I share my own personal experience, how I learned to prioritize my well-being. Let's break the silence together. Are you tired of feeling like you can't talk about what's really going on? What if we could create a world where talking about mental health was as normal as talking about the weather? So that's what all this is here. You can join us for an honest conversation about breaking the stigma surrounding mental health. You know what I mean? Or just listen in. You can listen in. We can figure this out together. You know what I'm saying? I sound a little bit like a robot right now. It's because I've been cleaning. I still gotta go clean a little bit before the day ends. I gotta go back to work tomorrow. I've been resting on this Sunday. I got a lot of resting done today, so I'm gonna be doing this episode for you guys, and I'll actually be streaming on my my gaming YouTube channel in a bit, and try to be in a little bit of a more happier environment. Right now, I'm trying to give you guys a little bit of seriousness. I'm gonna be sounding a little bit more like a robot as we go. So I apologize, but I'm trying to work on my notes here. So pretty much, want to introduce myself. I already said my seasons. So, but by the way, I am Taz, the Still Learning Dad, and a little introduction for this episode: my journey as a dad. Basically, my daughters are now 12 and 14, so been a dad for about 14 years. When my oldest was born, I tell this to people all the time. I knew I was a dad. I felt like I was a dad, right? I felt like I had a kid. I had a daughter. But the feeling of actually, like I'm excited to be a dad. Like I had that, right? But there was times where I wanted to do certain things that were for me only, and one of those things was music. I pursued music heavily when my oldest was born, and she was a baby. mom could hold it down while I would do my thing. I'd either have to go to the studio or I'd have to go do a show, and I was doing shows like 3 times a month minimum. If I could do more, I would do more. With the doing the shows, I'm doing the studio time. I'm taking off all night because they're, asleep anyway, or asleep and waking up here and there. Um, this was my pursuit of happiness. This was my passion, so I needed to do it. Um, this was something I really wanted to do. I enjoy doing it. I still enjoy doing it every now and then, but it's more of a when I'm free now. Um, I would take off a handful of times. I'd go to work on my moments off. I would write. I would go to the studio. I would write. I'd go to the studio. So why not, right? Um, but once I became a dad and my first daughter was born, I had got let go of my job, so I was collecting unemployment. And my first year with her, well, her first 6 months, I was pretty much a stay at home dad. I would collect unemployment checks. I'd write. I'd spend time with her. I'm like, man, this is easy, man. You guys are tripping on parenting, and I have to wake her up to feed her and all this other stuff, and it was just it seemed like an easy task, right? So I would kind of brag about it, and um, it felt easy the times I was home. So after about 6 months, I was like, yo, I need to branch out. I need to go start doing my thing. I want to go do this. I want to go do that. So I would do that. I would spend a lot of time with her, but then I would also spend my free time with with the writing, with listening to music, and she'd be sleeping while mom was at work. So when I finally told them, I was like, okay, so um, whatever you need me to do, I'll do it before I gotta go. This, and that. I don't want to just leave you, but I want to go do this. So I would leave them both together. Sometimes I would even invite mom to my shows and be like, yo, I'll find a sitter for us so that way you can get out. There was things like that too. So I, looking back, I didn't realize that I was choosing myself a lot, and it didn't really kick in until we had our second daughter, and when she was born, I it was like a light switch, like the feeling for both of them, because it wasn't like, oh, I have a mouth to feed. Now I have more than one mouth to feed. I have more than one mouth to feed. I have to feed two little girls now. You know, um, one is just born and one's about to start eating food. I'm gonna start getting the dad. I want a meal out of her. It's not no more formula and little kid snacks and little things like that. Like they're 2 years apart, so now more money has to be spent. It's not no little diapers and then formula diapers and like little baby snacks, little baby food. It was easy to do all that, right? Now we got to buy double, twice as much, and it was kind of just weird because once the news of having another one or actually seeing her kicked in, I was already working. I was already working now by the time we had our second, but I felt like I haven't stopped working ever since, and uh, it's just been a different feeling. I feel like now, when they were smaller, I still would do music whenever I was free. I would do shows here and there. I remember taking a long break. I was like, yo, I'm gonna take a break for like about a year or two, which I did. And all these breaks I kept taking, I felt like I was just drifting away from music more. I jumped back into it like 2015, I think, ish, or something like that. And I was like, all right, it's time to go hard again. Started doing that, but I noticed both of them had personalities that they're both building with now. So, now we're doing that to where if I'm taking off, my oldest one is like, oh, dad, are you leaving? You're doing this now. And it's those questions in that face that I see, and I'm like, maybe I can, I'll make it quick. I'll go and I'll come back, blah, blah, blah. And I would still, choose to leave because I'm like, this is a passion. This is something I want them to know when they're older. I want them to know that, they need to chase their dreams and they need to go for it. And I don't know. I feel like I blended it well, but looking back, I feel like I could have blended it a little bit better. But the minute they both started just giving me the looks, man, especially my oldest, because my oldest one she was talking a lot already. Um, it was hard. It was hard to make those choices to bounce now. So then I became just work, sleep, and then me and their mom had separated. She would keep them on every other weekend. So that would be my time to focus on, if I wanted to do more music, I could do that. Or, I'm not gonna lie, I'd go out and do my thing, just hang out with some cousins, or they say, hey, let's go to the bar, let's go to this, let's go to that. All right, yeah, I'll go. I don't have the kids tonight, let's roll. But I noticed that I missed them. But I'm like, oh, I'll see them, I'll see them again. The missing was, like a movie, or like what most parents feel like, oh, I miss my kids, I'm gonna get home and see them, whatever. But the feelings started getting super stronger as they both got older. Every year they got older, the more personality they started building off of. It was like, man, it was only, what are we, 16 years ago, right? 16 years ago, I had a different feeling, and my feeling was like, I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. To fast forward a couple years after, when they're both here, because they're 12 and 14. So now we're looking at 10 years ago, 11 years ago. I'm starting to have a more pull to I just want to be a dad, like I just want to work and be a dad. But then people are like, well, you have to do this, you have to pursue something like this, you got to provide financially, you got to do this, you got to do that. And I'm trying to do both, I'm trying to do both. My daughters now, Alexis and Ilana, and that's with E's. Lexus and Ilana. The the thing I'm trying to do for them, for their age right now, I want to show them that, pursuing their goals is important. It really does matter. So I tell them, we deep dive with each other, and I tell them about how they're young ladies, they're going into women soon, and they're gonna start doing the whole boy thing, and to just focus and lock in, I say lock in, chat. So I try to tell them, like, try to focus, and we gotta do stuff like this, and um, make sure you start prioritizing time, because time is everything right now. Time flies, but time is also of the essence. So I'm trying to trying to shape them into young women that can be go-getters and hustlers. And there's no need to sit here and tell them, like, you don't need a man in your life, because they won't. But I don't want them to have that toxic I don't need a man mentality. We're in a very different world now, where women are way too about themselves, to where they're like, I don't need this, I don't need that. And I want them to know what love feels like. I want them to be independent, but also know what love likes, to where they can you know find a man one day, and let the man be a man. It's a different world we're living in now, compared to how it used to be in the 90s. um, I I have moments with them where I feel like it's every day. It's will be like on drives to school. School's out now, but drives to school, or even to the store real quick, where like I'll start talking to them, and I try to get a reaction out of them, to where they say something, because I don't want to hear just yeah, whatever. Like how was school? Good. I've said this before. I'd be like, oh, what was your favorite part of the day? I don't know. So I deep dive. All right, well, what about this? What about that? Oh, well, okay, so and so, this, and that, and then they start breaking it down a little bit more. Um, so it's things like that where I'm like, okay, that's cool. I try to listen to them a little bit more for that. So like I'll ask more questions and follow up. Um, or we'll be driving and they'll randomly just start talking about things like of course the last day of school my little one showed me a video. She was like, oh, I was with my friends. She's like, please don't get mad at me. And I was like, what happened? And she was like, well, I recorded a video in class. It's the last day of school. I was like, hey man, I probably would have too. We didn't have phones in elementary, so I probably did the same thing. She was like, yeah, and then we went on break, so we were hanging out in the area, and she shows me this video, and it's this video of her recording her friends, and she's like panning the camera back left and right, and you could hear the sniffles. They're laughing. It's like a movie. Like her friends are laughing. All you hear is, and I'm listening, and I'm like, "That's you, huh?" She was like, "Yeah, I couldn't, help it. Like it's the last day. It was hitting hard. It was this and that." And I'm just like, It's like that. It's like that. You know, you're gonna have those moments where you're gonna never see your friends again, but you also have moments where even though you're gonna see them, it's one of those highlighted moments where it's like, man, this moment, I don't want this moment to end. But you want to remember those moments and have those memories with those friends because you just never know. Something could happen. They can move. We're not. I don't even want to talk about like negatives of like someone passing or whatever. Let's look at it like moving. What if they move to another state or out of town far to where they can't even hang out no more? So there's things like that, and I try to have a lot of moments like that. They'll say things like, "Oh man, I was with my friend and we were talking about this, and we're gonna try out this too." Like my oldest one, she's like, "We're gonna do volleyball. We're gonna try out volleyball." I was like, "All right, let's see where it goes." And then, oh, tryouts are next week. All right, I'm gonna take you. So I took my oldest one to tryouts, and she ended up getting it. So then we had to go to practice last week. Practice is like 6 in the morning, which is easy for me, but it's also hard at the same time because I work nights. I get out at 4:30 in the morning, so I had to go grab me a coffee just so I could stay alive. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching them, and they're doing their thing, and I'm like, hey man, all the little calisthenics and exercises you were doing, imagine doing those with pads on, because I had to do that when I was a kid too, and we used to do it for football. And then but I wasn't trying to take away like her feelings and what she was going through either. I was just like relating to her. I don't ever want to one up them, but I do like to break down like what we had to go through when we were kids or whatever. So there's things like that. I definitely try to validate their emotions. I try to actively listen to them. At least I really do feel like I do, because I always try to share like different stories with them too. um, we um, we have like little like circle moments where we talk about things like that. um, I've gotten into trying to create like a safe space for them to where if they ever feel like they need to talk to me about anything, we do that too. um, we I feel like we have like sessions a lot when I'm on these drives with them, because I'm always just trying to just like get in their head a little bit, like what about this, what about that. um, I'll see something and I'll be like, hey, did you guys see that there was the news of like this? Or it could be something like the tariffs going on, which I don't even deep dive into that, but like you know there's things like that where it could get expensive and you guys got to make sure you budget well. Or I'll talk to them about like investing, which is something I'm trying to do right now. Like, oh, you can invest in like in this coin and this coin. Um, this is what I'm looking into right now. I work for Amazon, so look, you could even look into the stock for this, and you could buy into that, or look at the this job I used to work for right here. So there's the stock for that, and you can buy into that too. And it's like a little hard to explain it to them right now, but I bring it up so that way they can get used to hearing it a lot more, and they like one day maybe like, oh dad, maybe you can show me how you did that. I know there's books. I found a book already on Amazon too. It says something like about investing for teenagers or something like that. So I try to break down a lot of different things. I'm finding like a lot of lint. Lint. I need to clean up right here. But yeah, there's things like that, and I try to let them know that there's no really judging whenever I sit down with them. But I do call them out on things that need to be called out, but I won't ever do it. Like I won't ever overdo it. Um, I like this part right here. This I'm going off my notes. Um, I feel like I'm an empath person, so I do like to relate to them with a lot of empathy, and sometimes the my oldest she'll say things like, "Oh, you don't understand me," or "You don't understand," or and I'm like, "Man, I've been there. I used to say the same things too." But what don't I understand? How about you try to explain it to me what I don't understand. So she'll tell me certain things. I'm like, okay, well maybe it's just because of this, and that. And it's funny because not every time. There's some times where I could tell she still feels like I don't understand her. So she'll just be like, yeah, okay. But then there's times where she's like, you're right, Dad, you're right. I gotta think about it. I'm like, yeah, see, you gotta sit there and think. My little one, um, it's a little bit harder with her when she doesn't when she feels like she's right, she's right. She doesn't want to let that go. She's like holding on to that for the life of her. She's like, no, I don't want to let this go, Dad. Nah, I'm right. But later on, she thinks about it and she's like, yeah, you're right. And it could buckle down to like just her snacks. Like one day, she was saying like her stomach was hurting, and I was like, oh, okay, what'd you eat? Let's travel back because I watched you today. But what did you eat? Because I know what you ate. She's like, well, all I had was like chips. I was like, but how long ago? Oh, I just had them like, like an hour ago. All right, but what did you have before the chips? I don't know, like ice cream, but that was like in the morning. And I'm like, all right, well, what you're doing is you're like blending everything all together. And then she was like, oh yeah. So I was like, yeah, you're mixing up all these together, and now it's going into your stomach, and as the day goes on, you end up having stomach issues. You know what I mean? So after breaking all that down, she was like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, see, so and there's things like that, and just like little stuff here and there, where she'll sit there and give me that side eye, like, I don't know, Dad, I don't know how I feel about that, but either way, I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. I always try to let them know, like, I'm here for you if you need anything. If you ever want to like vent or whatever the case is, just let me know. Like, oh yeah, okay, Dad, cool. Can I go play my Roblox now, or can you go buy me something off my Amazon cart, or whatever, something like that. And usually, that's how the little one. That's how our conversations will kind of go. She's like, yeah, I heard you, but can I do this, or yeah, can I do that, whatever. Um, Let me see. We are on this part right here. So they oh yeah, I like this part. I was actually getting to this anyway. I didn't see this right here. They're 2 years apart, but when they were little, I used to dress them like twins, because that's what you see growing up in movies and shows, and oh look, they look similar, so let's make them similar. And then I don't know, maybe like eight. When they were like 8 and 10, I started noticing a difference of their clothing, as far as, oh, I want this color, I want this color. So they would dress a little bit different. But now at 12 and 14, they are very different. They dress very different. I got one that wants to rock Vans. Um, they both would want to rock Chucks, but one, okay, so one would want to rock Chucks like black or red or blue. The other one wants black with the design in it, um, I'm looking at them right now. They're like a little bit thicker platform style, and then she wants like a black boots. So she was like, I want to wear all black. I want this. I want that. And that's Lonnie. She's into her rock star style right now. She's got an electric guitar. Oldest one, Lex. She's you know, a volleyball girl now, and oh, I really want to go far in volleyball. And I love that they have moments where they're kind of the same because like they'll even play Roblox or Fortnite, but they have a different group of friends that they play with when they're playing on it. Like they'll play different things on Roblox or different types of matches on a Fortnite. So I'm like, you guys are playing the same game, but you're still being different. Like, what the heck? Like, it's weird when you look at it from that perspective, but it's also like I respect it. I respect them fully. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I understand where you guys are going with that. That's pretty cool. Like, that's dope. You know, everything is like, oh, that's dope. That's dope for sure. And they're both funny. They're both funny. They're on that Sigma skibbity vibe. They be saying all that funny stuff. But I I definitely I'm here for the ride. I tell them that I'm here to watch you grow and glow. I said it in one of my songs. Like I can't wait to see you shine. Even mom can see you glow. Pray, speak your mind, but be calm, do not provoke. Like things like that is like I want you to be confident when you speak to people. I want you to be firm. I want you to stand tall when you're asserting your dominance, but I also want you to be humble and respectful because you know everyone's going through something. You know that's where we're feeding into. Now I want to try to like blend a little bit of the conversation. Everyone's going through something. At work, people say like the managers say like, "Oh, but you should give him the benefit of the doubt. You should chill a little bit because he's going through a lot, or you should be careful because she's going through a lot." And I'm like, "Hey, boss, we're all going through a lot. Like you don't need to remind me they're going through something because I got my own thing. You know what I mean?" So it's like it's just kind of weird. Like it's frustrating when you're at work, you're dealing with whatever you're dealing with outside of work. Like there's bills that build up sometimes for me, and I have to work overtime so I could float money back and forth. And when the overtime is kicking in, they're like, "Oh, can we go here? Can we go here? I want to go watch this movie. I want to go hang out with my friends. Can we go buy this? Can we go buy that?" And I'm trying to manage all that, and then I'm dealing with the issues at work. So it's like the younger me when they were a little bit smaller, they know this too because I used to lash out. I used to have a lot of anger problems, and it's not their fault. It's not their fault that my childhood to my teenage years I had built up a lot of anger, and I just wanted to lash out at everybody, and I hated the world. Now I have daughters I love, and I'm yelling at them for no reason, or when I am yelling at them for a reason, sometimes I'm overboard. I'm like screaming at them. So one day I was just like, "What's wrong with me?" So for the past like couple of years, I've been focused on just being peaceful, being positive. You know, looking up like positive quotes, listening to calm music. Lo-fi really helped out a lot, and of course I started praying a lot. And just this year I started looking up Bible verses and scriptures, and it's been helping a lot. The past like I want to say maybe year to 2 years, I've been a lot more calm with them, and even with like with all the stress I got, like I've asked them like, how do you think I handled this situation? How do you think I handled this situation? What about this? And like, you actually did pretty good. You're from how you used to be. I'm like, for real, huh? I'm like, all right, that's cool. I just wanted to make sure. Like, what do you think this? What do you think that? And I even saw this one thing one time where it was a dad. He was asking his son, I believe. He was like, what do you think I should do better as a dad? And I like to tell them that every now and then. I like to ask them like, are there any things that you think that you feel that I should work better as a dad, how I could be a better dad to you. And they ironically told me no, but I'm like, I feel like I got a couple things to work on. But I don't know. That this is what they see from the outside perspective of how I feel, because I'm my worst critic. I'm always on myself about the things that I do, and I feel like I should always be doing better. Um, but I don't know. I feel like there's always things that I could always do something better. But then, like I said, that's just me. Um, I like to talk to them about their image sometimes, because I know they see certain things on social media. Like, look, you're gonna see women like this. You're gonna see women like this. I hope you don't feel you need to do this, the same thing that she's doing to her body, or what she's doing to her face, or her, her image. You don't need to match that. It's going in one ear and out the other. But I'm on them. I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it. We we talk about patience, because I've developed patience too. So there's things where it's like they'll get mad over something not being done, because they can look on their phone, right? They can. I've talked about this a couple of times. They can scroll through something on their phone and they can find it like that then and there. But then when they want something done, it doesn't always happen that way. Like, if they want to go to the movies in an hour, they'll say things like, "Oh, Dad, I want to hang out with my friends." Okay, cool. What day? Oh, right now. We want to go hang out right now. I already told them. I'm like, that's not how it works. You know, how about you say, can we figure out a day to meet up, and I'll talk to my parents, you talk to your parents. Oh man, but why can't we? I'm like, look, I'm more than likely gonna say yeah, if especially if I'm off, if it's my day off, then yeah, we can run it. But if I'm not free, or their parents are not free, how are we gonna make that work? How is that gonna work? Oh, that's not fair, man. That's not fair. Okay, cool. It's not fair. Let me explain the situation in your view to me, and then I'll talk about it as if I'm in their shoes. And they're like, okay. And I'm like, now with all that being said, now let me tell you how my day's going and how my week is going. So I gotta go to work right now, or I just got out of work, or tomorrow I have to be at work at this time. I need to go to sleep because I work nights. I have to sleep during the day, and you want me to do this and you want me to do that, da, 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 and you're telling me it's not fair. Where does it fit in that it's fair for me to do all that? And they're like, oh, you're right. And I'm like, okay. And I'm not trying to throw it in your face, but I'm telling you that this is my situation. Da, 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 da. Mind you, I gotta do this, and or I gotta say, like, I gotta get gas, or anything like that, or we have to go grocery shopping. I try to give them that scenario to where it's understandable. Before, I'd be like, nah, man, because I said, like, no, no, we're not doing it. And I don't know why I would act like that before, until I started, my healing journey. And um, you notice it a lot. You see how much calmer you can be, and it's man, I seen this. It was on wrestling yesterday. We're watching Worlds Collide. It was the wrestler's coming out, and the commentators are like, you could tell he's got anger in his eyes, but he's calm. And they said it was like controlled chaos. So I've been able to deal with that controlled rage, controlled chaos, and it's not always 100%, but I feel like I'm at like 80% of it. It takes a cool minute for me to lash out on anyone, because I try to hold it all, and I try to channel it, and I try to utilize it for something else. So there's things like that. Um, hmm, we just started going to the gym together. We're gonna go again next weekend. I finally got my little one going. She hated it, but I told them, in shorter terms, health is wealth. In the longer version, I told them that you want to be able to to be tough enough to do something, to move anything. You don't want to be just flimsy and lazy all day and, just playing with the games or whatever. And then you got to go do something you really need to do. You can't do it. You can't move it. You're always going to need help. You want to pretend you're independent. You want to pretend you're at a job. You have to work a couple days a week right now. Let's just say that for you guys. I want to get them debit cards soon. So I want them to learn how to really manage and know what it's like to have a wallet like I do. Like, look, you got $5 on your account. What are you gonna do with that? Are you gonna blow it? Okay, cool. If you blow it, you're not gonna be able to do that much for the rest of the week. So we're getting there. That's like, hopefully that might be the next episode. If not, maybe a couple episodes from now. Um, but there's things like that. We have challenges that we go through. There's setbacks that I like to talk about. Like, look, we're not able to do it right now, but we can do it next week. Same thing with money. You won't be able to do certain things. You won't be able to do this. You won't do that. But next week you can. I'm not a professional, so I've even told them, like, if you feel like you can't talk to me about like certain things, these challenges you're going through mentally, talk to someone in the family that you feel like you could trust, or shoot someone at school, anything like that, right? Um, there's there's tons of different things that we can go through that not a lot of people might know about, or whatever the case is. And you know there's ways to overcome it. There's ways to just be good with each other and not have to um, let little things get to you to where you feel like you have to lash out like people like I do. There's no need to be like the old version of how I used to be. And that's where I get at with them. I want to rewind a little bit and talk about the promotion, because this is how I want to close. The promotion really hit the heart. Um, Seeing both of them promote, now they're on their next phase of life. It's really touching. I want to be able to be there for both their graduations, which God gives me the right. I'm gonna be there. It's just it was an emotional moment. Like, man, they're really growing. I remember them being super small. Hi, Dad. Yeah. And I was like, hey, Dad, or what's up, Dad, or the favorite one is bro. I get bro a lot. um, Bro, I need to go over here, bro. Like, bro, we need to go to Ulta. Like, bro, I need my lashes, bro. Like, bro. I'm like, bro, enough. um, but yeah, man, that got me. That got me emotional, and I was glad I was there to experience every single moment of both of those days. Um, with all the things that I've gone through in my life, I didn't go through a lot like most people do, but I still have gone through things. And to know the person that I once was as a teenager into my early 20s, I was a very angry person. And you know seeing that they got men's mental health month. May is mental health month already, and then they got men's mental health in June. May is a month of my birthday. June is Father's Day. So I find that kind of cool and ironic at the same time that both are involved with each other. And it's I grew up on that you can't cry vibe. You can't cry. You gotta be tough. You're a boy. You're gonna be a man. You're a young boy. You're gonna be a young man. You're a young man. You're gonna be a grown man. Like, talk about it. You don't have to say exactly what you're going through, but fellas, talk about it. Say something. Yo, man, I'm not okay. I feel like as a girl dad, it's easier to be a little bit more. Uh, it's a lot easier to express myself a lot more, especially when you meet other dads too. Like, oh yeah, I'm a dad. I have a son. I'm a dad. I have a daughter. I'm like, I got two daughters. Run it up. Let's have a combo. Like I uh, I love talking about my daughters. I love talking about being a dad to my daughters, and I I uh, I don't want to be negative, but I guess you could say I dislike dads who weren't there. I really dislike dads who don't want to be involved in their kids' lives. Dads who give up, dads who make excuses to give up, or have childlike mentalities to just not want to be involved in your kid's life, whether a kid or an adult. There's no excuse. Like, I hear stories all the time. I've seen it, and when I hear certain dads don't do certain things, it's frustrate. It frustrates me. It really frustrates me because I say like, man, I work nights. I work nights. I hardly sleep, and I still do my best to show up for my daughters every single time. So, oh, but I'm like, kill that noise, bro. Show up. That's what's really important. One thing I think I believe I talked about it on one of my last episodes. I had an interview. I had an interview for a better position at my job recently for my building. I'm like, all right, and I picked my interview. Picked my interview for a date. I thought I was gonna have it at a certain date and got moved back. Whatever, I accepted it. Looking at the times, and then my little one Lonnie goes, "Oh, by the way, I have a play. My last play is gonna be on this day." And I'm like, "That's the same day as my interview. What time?" "Oh, it's at this time." That's the same time as my interview. She goes, "That's okay. You've been to a lot of them anyways." And I was like, "I don't think I'm gonna make it. I got this interview. It could change our lives. It could be important. I could get more money. I can get a promotion. But my schedule's gonna be busy. I'm gonna be busy a lot if I get it. I'm gonna be real busy." She's like, "Yeah, it's cool." So here we go. We fast forward to the interview day. I'm dropping them off. I get back home, get my coffee ready, and I'm like, you know what? It's her last damn play. What am I doing? So I showed up, go into her play, and she's singing her song. They're doing their thing. She looks up. It's like tears of joy for both of us. Her face changed, her attitude changed. She was smiling like nothing. And then she was giving me that look like, "What are you doing here?" She gave me that look, and then I was like, I had to see it. I was like, I'm gonna call them right now. Hold on. So I ran out, middle of her play, answered the phone. I'm sorry, I made the call. I had to do a video call. I did the video call. Sorry about that. I did the video call, and I'm speeding through it. I'm telling them like, "Yeah, I'm at my daughter's play right now. I'm at my daughter's school. I'm in the parking lot. I apologize, but let's get this interview cracking." So this guy's asking me the questions. I felt like the first two questions I nailed. But then we get to the third question, and I blanked. I blanked immediately on the third because I was starting to feel like, you know what, this is not important. So I like rambled all the rest of my I rambled everything. I was so like forced to hang up already, As soon as we hung up, boom, clicked, hung up, ran back inside the school. Still had time to finish her, watch her whole play and watch her finish, and I got to finish watching her sing too. So she comes out. She's like, "What are you doing here? I thought you were gonna do your interview." And I was like, "You know what? It's your last play. You think I'm gonna miss this? You think I'm gonna miss this play?" And I don't know why I should have just canceled the interview to begin with, but I wanted to try to do both because I wanted to show them that I could do both. I could show up still and do this interview, and I did that. Did I get the position? No. But what was most important of that day? The most important thing of that day was I was able to do an interview and still attend my daughter's play. So there's no excuses when it comes to showing up, fellas. There's no excuses. I showed up. I did my thing while I was there. Uh, anyhow, um, I want to encourage anyone viewing, anybody viewing or listening. I want to encourage you guys. If you're trying to, jump in and chime in with us, comment down below, or reach out with the email. Um, you don't have to exactly speak to me. You could leave it in a comment. You could actually comment too on I know through the Spotify you can comment, but I don't know about all the other platforms because this will be on all platforms as all the other ones are. Um, Share your experiences, man. Um, let us know. Let us know in the comments. If you got nobody to talk to, talk to me. I like listening to people. Because I know what it's like for people not to listen to. There's a lot of times where I would want to talk to someone. I don't really get those ears like I would like. So, um, reach out. You know what I'm saying? For anyone listening, appreciate you for listening. Thank you for chiming in. Yeah, I enjoyed this one. This one was a little hard to hold in. It's a little bit hard to hold in. I'm, hanging in there. Um, but yeah, show up. Show up, dads. Show up every single time. I Again, I apologize for everything in the background. The next one is going to be better, hopefully, because I'm going to clean up the area and I'll be able to showcase the area a little bit more. But for now, this is what we got. And once again, I would like to thank everybody for listening or watching. And I will see you guys on the next episode. Y'all take it easy.